Hi, so this example demonstrates how to use the Coding Bat website, which you'll be using for the upcoming quiz. So this is different from the other online quizzes that you've done in Sakai. So you're going to be using this Coding Bat tool. So this is a nifty tool that was developed at Stanford University that allows you to write and test Python code and also Java code. So make sure that you click on the Python tab so that you're going to be testing Python code. And so it'll run your code against a set of test cases, and you don't have to save it to a file, and you don't have all the overhead that you normally have associated with testing things in JES. So make sure you're on the Python tab. You'll want to create an account. I'm not going to do that because I already have a couple of Coding Bat accounts. So be sure to create an account so that it will save your progress as you solve the problems. And so you will, for the quiz, you're going to be solving some of these warm-up 1 problems. They're pretty simple ones. And so when you click on that, you'll see a list here of different problems to solve. And so you're going to want to solve at least 10 of these for the quiz. So I'm going to click on this, I'll do this first one, SleepIn. So what you see when you click on that is you see a description of a problem that you're supposed to solve, and then you'll see, it's called SleepIn, and you'll see a list of what should happen when you call that function. So if I call SleepIn false, false, and SleepIn true, false, and so forth. And so the description of this problem says the parameter weekday is true if it is a weekday, and the parameter vacation is true if we're on vacation. And so we sleep in if it's not a weekday or we're on vacation. Return true if we sleep in. So down here, you just see the header for the function, def sleepin, and it's being passed these two what are called Boolean variables, that is, variables that have the value true and false. And so our job is to return true if we can sleep in. So if you do this and perhaps type the solution in incorrectly, so I'm going to do that first. So you just write this like you would a normal function. So I would say if weekday, I'll say if weekday return false, we shouldn't sleep in, and then I'll just say else return true. And true and false need to be capitalized in Python, and you'll notice they turn blue, indicating that they are reserved words. Be careful to put colons on the ends of the lines for the if and the else here. So I'm going to click go, and then what happens when I do that is it runs my code against a set of test cases, and it'll tell me whether it passed the test case. And you'll notice that it didn't pass one of them. So it worked when it's not a weekday and we're not on vacation, when it is a weekday and we aren't on vacation, when it isn't a weekday and we are on vacation, but it didn't work when it's a weekday and we are on vacation. So so I have an error in my code. So if I see this X and a red rectangle here, I know that I've made a mistake. So if I read the problem again, I see that what I need to do, I'm going to delete this, what I need to do is I need to say if it's not a weekday or we're on vacation. I don't need that extra parentheses there. So if it's not, and the not just works by passing it a variable, and it negates it, similar to what happened with the not in Google Sheets. So if it's not a weekday or we're on vacation, then we should return true. Else return false. And I click go, and now it passes all the test cases, And so once it does that, then I can just move on to the next problem. And you can, on these, you should try them yourself, but you can see the solution to these if you want to. And we see that it says, if not, weekday or vacation, return true, else return false. It's slightly different from our solution. I put parentheses around that, but otherwise it's very similar. And so we can check our answers that way. But I encourage you to try the problem before looking at the solution. So now I'm going to go to the next warm-up problem. And this one's called monkey trouble. And we're in trouble if the two monkeys are both smiling or if they're both not smiling. So if they're different, if one monkey is smiling and the other one isn't, then we're okay. So we want to return true if we're in trouble. So monkey trouble. This is a silly problem, but it gives you some practice. So we can say if, I don't know what just happened there. I think I hadn't clicked in the box yet. So I'm going to say if A is smiling and B is smiling, return true. If, remember we have our if statement, so else if, I need a condition here, if not A smile and not B smile. So if they're both smiling or they're both not smiling, we return true, else return false. False. And I click go, and again it passes all of the test cases here, and so I see that that's correct. So you just do that for all of the problems. If you go back to the listing, the warm-up one, I'll see little check marks here besides SleepIn and monkey trouble. So you've already solved 2 of the problems if you do those along with me, and so you just need to do 8 more. So give those a try. I'll just give you some practice writing if statements. Be sure to create your account before you do that so that it saves the fact that you have solved the problem so that you can log back in and keep working on them, so you don't have to solve them all in one session. And then also be sure when you're at some point, either when you're finished or you can do it right away, you want to go to the prefs, and because I'm not logged into an account, it's not showing the preferences here, but you want to do the teacher share and share that, share your solutions with me, and then what will happen is I will be able to log in and see which problems you've solved, how many problems you solved, and give you credit for those. So be sure to do the teacher share and also create an account before you start. So that's coding that. It'll just give you some nice practice. If you look here at the list of Python problems, you'll see there are a lot more sets of problems that you can try if you're interested in learning more about Python. Good luck.